What it do, YouTube? It's your boy Trey Swish back at it again with another video. Welcome to the Ether, and we are reviewing Jurassic World Rebirth. Oh boy, man, this one was it was interesting. I got a couple list of questions here just to make the review go a little bit smoother for myself. But my initial reaction when I was walking out of the theater. What was it? I honestly was walking out of the theater. I kind of enjoyed myself. I'm not gonna lie. I had a good time. There's a lot of stuff in the plot in general that I don't think I would write home about. But the overall experience, I treated it like like one of those Fast and Furious movies. You turn off your brain and enjoy it. But I really feel like if I'm comparing it to that franchise, this seemed at least a little bit more intelligent. You know what I mean? I didn't have to turn off my brain as much. Now, were there things that were just goofy as hell? Like, for instance, the river scene with the T-Rex, and the little a floaty boat. That whole segment, the lead up to it, the whole thing, it was just goofy. It was so goofy. But yeah, my initial reaction, honestly, when I walked out was it wasn't bad. Yeah, it felt better than the Last Jedi. That's a bad feeling when you walk out of the movie. At least for me, it was. Story. How does the plot compare to the previous Jurassic World or Jurassic Park films? I think the first Jurassic World movie was very good. It was a breath of fresh air. It was something new. Pratt killed it. The second one, it was all right. You know what I mean? It felt like it was pretty much the same thing. It didn't really follow up and expand on much, in my opinion, at least with the overall worth of the story. So I really do think that first Jurassic World movie was good. When you compare them to the Jurassic Park movies, I think it's just not even a competition. You had the OG cast. Those movies like haunted me as a kid. But they were good, man. They were amazing. But let's look at the next question I got. Did the story do anything new, or did it recycle old ideas? That's pretty much all it did. It recycled old ideas. It was really weird too about it. It was like there were certain scenes where I was expecting to get like some close-up shots, some like, because there were some like actually emotional moments that they wrote fairly well. Oh, and they acted out fairly well as well. But I felt like a lot of the shots were really, really wide. And I don't know if that's because if green screen or whatever it might be, because I know it's filmed in Hawaii and they play with it a little bit to make it look like their own and stuff like that. But there were certain scenes I was like, why aren't we getting like some really good close-ups right now, or stuff like that? Just little nitpicks and stuff. Was there any part of the plot that didn't make sense or felt lazy? Well, I watched Drinker's review before I actually even went and watched this movie. I think that might have saved me because my expectations got really, really low. And I enjoyed it a lot. Man, no one really died that meant anything to the story except for the bad guy, and everyone knew he was gonna die. You know what I mean? When he like put that handcuff on his wrist and he had the briefcase. I was like, yeah, he's done. He's done, and we're gonna get the little iconic little hand on the thing that they get. You know what I mean? Just like the first movie. But yeah, I don't know. It wasn't bad. I think when the black guy didn't die at the very end, I was kind of like, okay, what? Because like the way they panned it obviously looked like the dinosaur should have killed him. But I get it, the concept. You can just throw the fucking thing and then, go into the water, or just let it float and then dive in the water and avoid the dinosaur. And I mean, the dinosaurs were pretty fucking stupid in this movie. And I mean, they said it themselves. And I think one of the best lines in the movie was when they said that. They said something along the lines, this isn't verbatim, this is, it was like, dinosaurs lasted for millions of years or something like that. And they're some of the dumbest creatures. And humans are much more intelligent, but they've only lasted about 100,000 or whatever it was. And that line talking about, just the overall survival, it not being likely and stuff like that, it spoke to me. I had chills a little, like not even chills, but I was thinking about like Oppenheimer, and you know how I just been having conversations with my buddies, and they've been some of them, man, they've been focused on the end of the world like type shit. So I don't know. I thought that was cool. The concept of the the dinosaurs dying out, I thought was a little weird because like if you want to actually milk the fuck out of this franchise, that doesn't seem like the best decision. But I mean, we have movies like 28 years later or whatever, and I mean they could just retcon that shit eventually. And also like the little girl, her pet, I thought that was a genius move to have the little dinosaur in her backpack, like almost like a Baby Yoda situation. Very smart for marketing and stuff like that, and toys and you know, emotes or whatever it might be later on, skins in Fortnite. But you know, it really felt like we were getting just a modern style movie. You know what I mean? Like we had Scarlett Johansson, phenomenal actor. Wish I would have saw her in a lot more stuff of recent. But I think she did a really good job. I think the actors did a really good job in general. The writing wasn't too bad. But it was so convenient. Like the plot armor in the movie it's outrageous, but it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the expectation I had going into it or what, but it was like fuck it. Like you know what I mean? It was cool, and I might have had a couple drinks here and there. This is taking a little bit longer than I expected, so let's skip to another questions. Characters. Which character stood out? I think the black guy, he stood out a lot. What was his name? Henry? I don't even remember his name, but the actor, he did an amazing job. I think the dad really didn't do much at all. It kind of irritated me with the dad actually. Not because he was like a knockoff of Pedro Pascal. I think he actually was a good actor. I think that actor could have been a better Joel, low key. Even though Pedro did a good job at Joel, you know what he could do in that series, but. When the dad, I think it was in the river scene actually, the lead up to it, he was like, I can't walk. And he's like limping really, really fucking hard, could barely put any weight on his leg. And then like something happened and he immediately like picks up his little daughter and just throws her in the boat. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's moving like perfectly, you know, no grunting, no wincing, nothing like that. And I mean, most of this movie is like really wide shot, so maybe he winced a little bit. I couldn't tell. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like the black guy did an amazing job. The actor for the dad, I think he did a fine job, honestly. But the overall, you know, character arc for that guy was piss poor. They didn't give him much development. Like the only development he had was him like engaging with the son and being like, okay, yeah, I see what my daughter sees in you now, and that happened. I feel like 30 minutes into the movie, you know what I mean? Like immediately once they're on land, and he saves, you know, his daughter, he immediately is like, oh shit, you're a good guy type shit. And they kind of try to like play with certain elements, but a lot of these characters did not get enough time. So if you feel like all the characters felt kind of shallow and bland, well, they do. They all didn't really get much time to flesh them out efficiently, in my opinion, at least. But it was a good movie. They did good with what they did. Man, let's go to visuals. Visuals. How did the dinosaurs look in general? They look good. You know, it was a modern movie. I think the CGI was good, but I do think like the wide shots bummed me out. I mean, on the boat itself, like when I don't even remember her name, but when Scarlett Johansson's like about to shoot the water dinosaur and he like is about to bite her, like I would imagine instead of doing the angle that they did, like having the angle from below her perspective, like looking up at her and having the fish like come like and like you could see like by inches miss her like in slow-mo or something like that. I think that would have been really fucking cool. I really don't think we got any like high detail visuals. Design concepts, if you want to talk about that with visuals, that shit was goofy. Especially, actually, the only thing I thought was really goofy was the big bad. It looked like, I don't know, the Arbiter or an alien from Alien versus Predator shit. Maybe even I've seen pictures of people photoshopping Predator dreads on it, and it actually works. Like it kind of works better than what we got, and it's just very, very ugly monster. It works. It's stupid as fuck. It really was boring because they just walked away from it at the end of the day. And that also bummed me out. Like, I feel like in Jurassic Park movies in general, you have this big bad, and then there's like a clever way of getting away from the danger. And I feel like we were robbed in this movie from that concept, if that makes sense. Standout visuals. I can't think of like one scene where I was like, God damn, this is fucking spectacular looking. Like, wow, they just nailed it. You know what I mean? I feel like it looked good overall. Actually, no, I take that back. The one scene, and it probably wasn't even the visuals itself. It was like it was like the accumulation of the music and the visuals and just the overall cinematography of the shot, and that was when they had like all those plant eaters, the big boys with the long necks, the big long necks, long as fuck, just running through the valley. I thought that was pretty cool. And I kind of missed the beginning part of it because it was boring. And I went and got a refill, and I came back and I got right in time where like the music was about to hit. And so like I walk into this fucking theater and I'm just sipping on my drink, and I'm like, oh shit. I didn't sit down for like a minute. I was just standing there, because I wanted to watch the movie. How was the soundtrack? I don't even recall. I really don't recall. That might be a good thing or a bad thing. Did this movie create tension, thrills, or scares like the originals? Yes and no. They did very well, but obviously I kind of spoiled the movie a little bit watching Critical Drinker's review before I went and watched it. Now, in saying that, there were scenes that gave me suspense, even though I knew who was gonna live and who was gonna die. Vaguely, I knew the family was all gonna live. Um, but I don't think they did suspense very well because all the characters that died, I was like, oh yeah, they're dead. And the way they did it, they just like rip off the band-aid, but it felt like the band-aid wasn't even like really secure on the skin to begin with, so it really didn't pull much hair off when that happened. Weird metaphor, but pretty much I feel like they could have had a lot more impact with the deaths they did do. Especially the last one where they blue balled us. I mean, not blue balled. I was happy when the guy lived, but I was like, damn. If he would have sacrificed himself and actually died, then I might be satisfied with them getting away. But the way they got away was just so fucking goofy. You know what I mean? This dinosaur's so stupid, just walking around like, like, come on, man. Come on, man. I know they're stupid. They're supposed to be chickens or whatever, but fuck. I want something a little clever. How did the pacing feel? The pacing was good. I felt like they were just walking around, not doing much, anyways. It went by quick. There was a lot of commercials in the beginning for this movie, like a shit ton, like more than normal that I remember. But that might just be the theater itself. How did the director handle suspense and big action set pieces? It could have been better. It could have been better. I don't think this movie's bad. I don't think it's terrible by any means. I think it's a fun movie that I'll watch again at like I don't even know. But I would be open to watching it again. And in some situation where I'm not picking the movie, if that makes sense. Like back in the day, I used to do sleepovers with my friends and stuff like that. And if someone put this on, I wouldn't care if we're playing a board game or something like that. I mean, it's cool. I'm not gonna be like, fuck, I hate this movie type shit. You know what I mean? Deeper thoughts. All right, let's hit this. Did the movie have any deeper messaging or themes worth talking about? Extinction is an interesting concept, and I think that just goes pretty well with the brand as a whole because obviously, dinosaurs are extinct. I did like the concept of like the business model of like studying dinosaurs and having museums or whatever it might be in this time period, no one giving a fuck about that. I thought that was interesting also with the mutants, hybrids, or whatever it might be. Very interesting concept. Like the overall concept of the movie, I think works very well by itself. Now, when you do you add all the details in, like this movie, I think could have been phenomenal. I think this could have been one of the best. I think it could have been better than the first Jurassic World. Just the potential of the concept itself. But I don't think it landed that. Did it respect the legacy of Jurassic Park, or did it mess it up? I think this question is going to have a lot of people disagreeing, even if you hate the movie or if you like the movie. Because even if you like the movie, I think you could see why you can make the case that this does disregard the legacy of Jurassic Park. And that's kind of a popular trend, I think, with a lot of these IPs that recycle old IPs, whether they're remaking the movie or adapting the IP to be something else. Um, I think this movie's better than the second one. Let's say that. Not Jurassic Park, but Jurassic World, to be specific. Um, Okay, let's look at the stats real quick. Let me pull these up. It was directed by Gareth Edwards, writer David Coop. I think like if I had to give grades on these people, they did like a B job. Like it was good. It was a good job. I don't know how much they made exactly. I think I have it right here. Budget was $180 million. Obviously, I don't think that includes marketing at all, so pretty much double that. Runtime 133 minutes. Went by fairly quick, in my opinion, which is a good thing in this case. Total, okay, so we got global opening at 318 to 22 million. Very, very good. Very, very good. 5-day domestic launch was at 147. Total as of July 8th is 380 worldwide. That's very good. Now here's where it gets a little tricky. And I do want to say like they're breaking even, right, with their marketing budget. Now that's not, so I wouldn't say that's very good. I'm just, they're not losing money. I don't think they are, at least from what's reported. Rotten Tomatoes, critics gave it a 52% and audience gave it a 72%, which is interesting to me because with this movie, I would assume that the critics would actually be higher than the audience. So that is interesting. Metacritic gave it a 50, 52. IMDb, 7 out of 10. And Cinema Score, B grade. Notable buzz was from the Dolores Stole Hearts and merch spot. So yeah, Dolores was the little dinosaur guy, and yeah, I think that was a genius move by them. Just overall marketing, and not just marketing, but being able to asset or push an asset into the toys. That's key. Like look at big IPs like Star Wars. You need to be able to work your money. You know, you have to. Goodness, you have to have good merch, bro. Come on, man. So last questions I would say for this overall experience. Oh, where'd it go? Who would I recommend this movie to? Kids, fans, casual moviegoers. So I was supposed to go with my fiance. I bought tickets already. I bought tickets for this whole week to make sure I had good seats for all these movies. She couldn't go. I invited my homeboys. They couldn't go. One's driving somewhere right now on a trip, and the other was dead tired from work. But nevertheless, I went with my parents. I actually bought another seat and went with my parents. Me and my dad used to go to movies all the time. And he's a fair critic, man. He'll shoot straight. And my mom is notorious for falling asleep in anything that is remotely boring. Okay? My mom did not fall asleep in this movie. She enjoyed it. She thought it was fun. She thought there was parts in it that were stupid. Same with my dad, but he enjoyed it as well. He thought it was good. So yeah, I think that's the overall take I have. You know, who would I recommend this movie to? A casual moviegoer. You know, anyone that likes movies in general. I would recommend this movie. I think you can recommend this movie to. Unless you're like, you know, if you only like Interstellar or, you know, Tenet or, you know, what's some movies like that? You know, it makes you think a little bit, you know, more intelligent movies. What's the one with Leo DiCaprio and the dimensions and sleeping? Shit. It's one of my favorite movies. I can't think of it right now. I'm blanking. But, you know, if you're only watching movies like that, I don't think this is your cup of tea. Because there's a lot of moments where you just got to be like, this is just Hollywood. I'm turning off my brain. And Jurassic Park doesn't have this like top-notch lore, or at least like a very, very, very deep lore where I've been invested in third-party stories, fan fictions, video games, stuff like Star Wars or something like that. You know what I mean? Something where the lore is like the Bible in some cases, right? It doesn't have that for me. I don't even know if it has a lore like that. It probably has comics and shit like that. I just never tried to get into them. But so this is a movie I can turn my brain off, right? With like Fast and Furious, the story and the narrative, since it's continuous, it doesn't have this like different characters, and it's not just focused on cars in general. It's focused on Dawn and the whole gang, and it progresses and gets bigger. That franchise irritates the fuck out of me with their new movies, because I genuinely love the story they had to a certain point, and then it just got all fucking weird, right? So yeah, that's kind of how I feel about this movie. So my name is Trey Swish. This is the Eethur. I'm actually curious on what you had to say. I read every single comment. I try to reply to everything. And I go through waves. So I do read everything that comes in. I just get busy. Like you can see, I posted a bunch of videos at night because I was busy all day. Even though I had all the videos lined up to go out on Wednesday, I get busy sometimes. So I'm going to be, my posting is sporadic, but it is consistent. And I will, yeah. So just hit that sub button, man. If you want to be part of the Eethur, part of the Discord, follow me on Twitter, whatever it might be, Twitch, YouTube, hit that sub, hit the like, comment down below, help get traction on this video, push it out to more people. Are there any specific videos or, movies or TV shows in general that you would want my opinion on? Because there's a lot of stuff out there that I could review, and I could just, give a little bit of dialogue to, and, there's a lot coming soon. Like I said, Superman and F1. Fantastic Four has already been bought as well. That doesn't come out for a while, but these are movies that I'm anticipating or can't wait to watch in general. But yeah, I don't know. This review went a little longer than I expected. It's 22 minutes, but that's okay. I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.